from town to town with a horse trailer dragging behind. Just a cowboy lost in a modern world. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Not a day goes by, don't think about how my life used to be. Now I'm out of my prime and I'm losing time, and nobody's calling for me. They used to call my name come roundup time. Now the four-wheelers takes my place, and the cowboy life that I've always loved is getting lost without a trace. But I won't give up and I won't give in. I'm a cowboy till I die. And I know there's got to be a place for me underneath big western sky. Headed out west, gonna do my best to leave the civilized world behind. Just me, my saddle, and an honest horse will try to go back in time, where surely there'd be a warm campfire or a bunkhouse calling my name. But tonight I'll sleep in my pickup truck, 'cause I'm still not playing their game. The world may turn, but the thing they can't change is the way I feel inside. A prairie fire may burn itself out, but you can't snuff a cowboy's pride. I'll be what I am and I'll do what I do. This life is worth fighting for. Yeah, the cowboy life is a life for me and 10,000 more. The cowboy life is a life for me.
Welcome back, True Horsemanship. So now we're Smoken Lady. She's graduated to my saddle I ride in all the time, and now I'm saddling inside the barn. Today we're going to go through the next step, but before I get to there, a little subject came up while I was leading her, because this mare only sees me and is used to me handling her. So I had Cindy approach her to pet on her when we brought her out, and Cindy did a normal thing, came up here and went to touch her neck. But Smoken Lady, since the type of horse she is, she was used to Cindy, so she bowled it off. So I had her come to the middle, to the belly, and approach her, and then start touching her. The reason being, especially more and more she works off my body, somebody comes up and reaches out here to pet her, she's liable to move off, especially somebody she don't know. She knows me, she knows my body language, so I can get by coming up here and doing that, because I'm not, the rest of my body's relaxed, so I'm not telling her to move off. But so, and Cindy asked how come I asked her to walk to her barrel here where the stirrup's at, and like I said, I'm going to say it again, is you're not pushing her away now. From here, if you approach the shoulder, a horse don't know you, and Mustangs especially, if they're not used to you, they're going to move away from you. So that's just a tidbit. So with that said, we'll go to our next thing. So I'm going to, this process now, it depends a lot on the horse, but the basic stuff at the beginning is the same. And that's where, from the beginning with her, I'm going to ground drive her today. That's what we're going to work on with her. And then after I ground drive her, with certain horses you can get by doing something else. But before you start ground driving, to be fair to this horse, and like I said, this starts way back when with her, is she's got to move to this feel of this pressure. In other words, if I pick up, she should move that hip. I pick up, she should move that hip softly. And now before I ground drive her, what I want her to do, I'm going to get up here and I want her to back off this halter. So what I'll do, right here where my hands would be, I'm going to pull. There's an important thing, it's not how far she steps. What I'm looking for is how soft. So right there, she's not giving, so I'm going to hold right where I pull. Now I'm not going to keep pulling. Once I got steady pressure on that, I'm not going to pull any harder. I'm going to hold that until she backs up. So I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to pick up, gradually pick up, put some pressure on her. As soon as I feel her rock back, we're going to release that pressure. I'm going to pick up, she rocks back, I'm going to release that pressure. So right now I'm not after how far she backs up. What I'm after is if I just pick up and put a little pressure, I want her to back off that. So I keep doing that until I can just barely pick up and she comes off of it. Of course, she's in the way. So that's my prep work before I start ground driving her, because it's not fair for her to hang on her face if she goes around. Now, the reason I start ground driving her is I started doing my normal thing the way I usually do, and I'll demonstrate with my longer lines.
I'm not dressed for it, but do you want to show the difference between me going towards her and you going towards her?
Yeah, we can real quick.
I'm not dressed for it. Just go back. I'll say go back and I'll tell you where to be.
Yeah, just keep it. You want to come on?
Well, I want to make sure you're in the right position. So, I mean, that's good. That right there, but if she comes backwards.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to, real quick before we get in ground driving, I'm going to have Cindy demonstrate what I was talking about earlier at the beginning.
Wrong to start with.
And hope it goes wrong.
There we go, yeah. So do it wrong first?
Huh?
Do it wrong
Yeah.
first? Okay.
And right there, you see her.
We'll come back this way to the camera. Now we'll go to the center.
Slow it down a little bit. There you go. Take the next step. Now, touch your shoulder. Oop, oop, oop. Really get up close to her. All right, don't reach out yet.
No, I wasn't. I was going to get up closer.
Give her a second. Wait for it. What I'm waiting for right now is her ears. I'm not waiting for her body. Because you see how her ears are pinned? She's ready right now to go somewhere. All right, go ahead and touch her. I told Cindy right then, go ahead and touch her, because the mare's right ear freed up. All right, really rub her. Don't be gentle. Let her feel it. And that's the problem, especially getting with Mustangs. And Cindy knows this.
I just want to show that.
If you have, yeah, all right. You know, like me and a horse like her, if I'm the only one handling her, any new person approach her, she's going to be that timid. So what I'll do is have Cindy, when she's up to it and got different shoes on and all, work her a little bit. And I don't mean lunge her or anything. Just like I showed just a few minutes ago how I was preparing her and going with that feel. That's what I want this mare to do. So we'll get back to ground driving. And Cindy's got her worked up a little bit, so this will be good.
I think it's good to show that though.
So what I do with a lot of horses, except a horse like her who's overreactive, and that's why I start ground driving. Y'all seen me just do this before. You know, I'll reach over and easy. And I'll pull their, bend them, and flex them, go like this. But you take a mare like her, who's overreaction, but she's bred to be that way. That's why she's would be good on cows. So it's not no fault of her own, and doesn't make her a bad horse. It just makes it for the normal person a little rougher to train, because number one, they get in a hurry and they get discouraged, disgusted, mad, and everything else. So anyway, first time I tried that, she'd overreact to that feel, that rope being behind her hock. So instead of just keep doing it until she comes down and making matters worse, because we're hyping her up, me ground driving her, I can eliminate some of that. So the first time, and hopefully, this is one of the times I hope she screws up. So I ran my lines through my stirrups, of course. Normal person, when I tell them take a piece of baling twine and tie between their stirrups, keep them down. If you're not used to doing this. So when I first did that to her, she bolted off just like that. Good. So what I did, I just let her go around in circles, because I got plenty of rope here, and just held this, make sure she didn't get in trouble. So she's bolting off there. I'm just going to keep that up there until she relaxes. Now when I ask her to turn, what I'm going to do, I'm not just going to pull her to the rail. I'm just going to put a little pressure And then when I feel her soften up, then I'll pull her around. So I'm gonna put a little pressure on my outside rein and hold that. I feel her get soft, then I pull her around. I'm gonna pick up. Now she goes to the left a lot better, which is to be expected. You know, the key factor indicated for me from the start that she'll go better to the left, as she's been, you know, she was so weird about even some approach her on the right. So what I'm going to do, we're going to reverse and just pick up my right rein, wait for her, and ask her to go. Don't just jerk them around, because if I want her to have time to think about it. So we're going to reverse. I'm going to slowly put some pressure to that left. She bends, and then I'll commit. Like I said, I want her to think about it. I want a horse to think. She got a little silly there. I don't worry about it. I don't care. There, she's starting to get licked, so I'm going to pick up my right rein again. She softens right there, then we pull her around. I like using that rail when I'm ground driving as much as possible. Because if I went in the arena and just taught her to go left and right with my driving reins, I'm gonna get a stiff horse. Because that's what you do with a driving horse, not a riding horse. So you see me, it looks like it, but I'm bumping my inside rein here. I'm just going to pick up my my left. Now I'm going to slowly increase on my right. So when I'm pulling her hard way, her stiffer way, I can't get into that enough. Let her get around here so the camera picks it up. So I want to get her to go to the right. I'm just going to pick up my right rein. And right there, where she made that turn, that's the pressure I used. But if I automatically just jerked her around, Ho. 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 I don't have my clicker. Good girl. That's it. That was a lot better last first time we.
I like it when stuff like that happens.
Huh?
I like it when it doesn't go right. That's more real world, you know?
Yeah. Easy. So you notice, I was paying too much attention when I was trying to get across and not paying attention to her. But you notice when it all went downhill, I just let lines go. And that's a good point. I'm glad it happened. These heavy rope lines, nylon, like I'm used all the time, you don't really have to worry about them wrapping around a horse's leg. Now, them darn flat lunge lines, something like that happens, and you can have a horse that doesn't tear the hide off. Or something, because they'll wrap around a horse. All right, there she reacted to that girth come flying over, which is fine. As my lines aren't too short, so I got enough lines here so I can let her out and try to keep my ropes, driving lines off the ground. So we're going to pick up right there. She turned. Right there, she's fighting me a little bit. Just do it again. I want to take her back to the left, but when she's trying so hard to go to the left, I'm not going to do it. Okay, right there she bent that head to the inside of her circle, so that's when I reversed her. So we're going to pick up my right. Now when I ask her to stop, I'm going to pull her to the rail and face her about 35 to 40 degrees. Now this is where the little work I did earlier about her backing up comes into play. I'm going to try to get this so the camera picks it up. So you notice I'm not pulling on her hard. You can see that slack in my lines. So I used the rail to stop her. And like I said, I put her on 30 to a 45-degree angle, somewhere around that. And then I backed her off, and I backed her up to the center. Now let's say at the start of that back, she gave me a couple of nice steps and then quit on me. I'm not going to keep pulling until she makes another step. I'm going to start taking her back and forth, ask for a stop, then go back to that stop again. Some people say, well, you're teaching her how not to back up. No, I'm teaching her how not to brace and not back up. Hey, like that, huh? Side pass, half pass, back up. See, I can teach this mare a lot of stuff in my driving lines. You gotta imagine she wants to come. So I'm going to ask for a stop again. I'm going to slowly pick up, put her to the rail. Now when I first started asking for her back, I did one step at a time. There. 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 Now what I do then, I just worked her front and hind end. I got her to cross over. While I was backing, I just put a little, kept her in frame, and just the line that's on her hip, right above her hock, we make believe that's my leg. And the other, of course, come on, walk up. Part to the halter, of course, that's my hand. There, there. Somebody said, well, how long do you do this? Right now, actually, it's a pretty good stopping point. Because notice that time, I still stopped her on 35-degree angle, or 45, but I was about 3 foot away from the rail. So that's what I'll do. I'll just keep backing off the rail. Now this is, you take a horse like her. When I go to the right, I cannot go to sleep. But what happens is what happens. Because I know she's going to do whatever it takes until she figures it out to go to the left. So I'm just going to pick up my lines there. She stops, she backs off of it. She stops, she backs off of it. So now we're going to move that hip a little bit. Get her crossover in the front. Move that hip a little bit. Here. So, I was getting to earlier. about when to quit. All right, you got to see her at the beginning, and I'm glad it didn't go perfect. But you got to see how I handle situations, and I let her work through all the crazy, a little bit of, not craziness, but her being unsure. So I took driving lines off. Now I was saying earlier, you got to know when to quit. When she starts getting relaxed there and everything, and moving the hip, or moving the shoulder, that's time to quit. Of course, someone's gonna say, "You never did any groundwork with her." I mean, there's a point. Groundwork's fine and dandy, but don't get so hooked up on it. And that's what I'm seeing a lot. People getting hooked up on it. And on her right side, I don't take it personal, because she's weird about this side, and it's going to take a long time for her to get over it. Now the key thing is, I'll know when she's over it if I'm riding her or got her ground driving her, when she starts turning both ways and holds that head a little bit to the center, the direction she's going. But this man, horses like her, especially at her age, 7 years old, there's always going to be a tendency, but most people are not going to notice it. And what happens is, why you see that, this mare is so focused on me, and that's why we do groundwork, to get the horses focused on you and everything. So this mare is so focused on me, why should I start forcing her away from me to make a point? So to me, it's not fair to her. As long as she does what I ask her, then I can spend that time and really training her. Now what I'll do, I'll ground drive her some more just in the halter. Next time I ground drive her, I'll bit her up, but I'll just have her carry the O-ring, the snaffle bit, just carry it. Let her get used to it in her mouth. And the more work I can do in this halter, the softer I can get her in this halters. When I put the bit in her mouth, the easier that's going to go. Because with this mare, when she feels shut down like that, she's going to probably try to push through it, and I know it. So my job is just go little tugs, little soft touches at a time, And then once she starts giving to it, then I'll start really getting her turning quick on it. So just for general, I forgot to mention it, Smoken Lady now got her fan club on Facebook, which we'll probably get used to having it, have everyday pictures of her and this and that. But she's, I'm happy where she's coming. And today it's a little cooler, so she wasn't like when I ground drive her usually, but that's fine, I don't care. Because with horses, especially y'all, and Brian over Scotland knows this real well, and James, who's here in Tennessee, you can have stuff going well with a horse for 2 weeks, especially when they're at certain stages of their training. Then all of a sudden it's like, what the heck? So you don't get mad, you don't get discouraged. Horses got a mind, and they're got to work through it. Me, I'd rather see a horse like what she did today a little bit than from the last 5 times I ground drove her where she was so perfect. I'd rather see her, you know, I've been waiting for this. I'm glad she picked today to come up. Because how can she work through anything she does wrong at a stage without her working through it? Alright, so hope you get something out of this. If you want to join fan club, it's Smoken, S-M-O-K-E-N,
Yeah.
Lady on Facebook. And to my kids, grandkids, special person out there, watch Day Lake K&A, and be true to the horse and they'll be true to you. And remember people, one step at a time. Don't lose your cool. I mean, I saw one guy the other day, he said that's the biggest thing. Be consistent. Don't, you know, just go at them matter-of-factly. Don't go at them too hard. Don't go at them too soft. You go at them too hard, you're really going to screw a horse up like her. And if you go too soft, a horse like her, you're going to screw up because she thinks there's a reason why you're being scared. That's the way they look at it. So anyway, be true to a horse and they'll be true to you. And God bless. Take care.